reality of Dorado fishing. I mean, I always tell people you gotta do everything right and get a little bit lucky. If it's not perfect, the Dorado's gonna have the edge. This place can't be described in email or text, and even talking about it over the phone is difficult. Probably less than 20 years ago, 15 years ago maybe, that people were trying to push the boundaries of where they could find Dorado. You know, people started exploring here in Bolivia and ultimately found them here. The angling community just jumped on it, and since then it's quickly moved to the top of people's lists.
Mi Jesús me ha bendecido, me ha dado su salvación. Mi Jesús me ha redimido, hay gozo en mi corazón. Mi Jesús me ha bendecido, me ha dado su salvación. Mi Jesús me ha redimido, hay gozo en mi corazón. Mi Jesús me ha bendecido, me ha dado su salvación.
I love this job. We work with a lot of folks. Specifically, I handle the South America program, and we send people all over the continent. So just getting people prepared for these big trips, these exotic trips, specifically Bolivia. You know, for a lot of people, this is like something they have always wanted to do. Maybe they're only going to go once. So it's really great to be able to help them put that together, make sure they have the right equipment, they're properly prepared, and then ultimately find success here in a demanding environment. So it's really gratifying. And to get to travel and come down here with a group is not so bad either. The trip begins in Santa Cruz, Bolivia, and then from there you're hour and a half charter flight into the jungle onto the grass runway, and unload the plane pretty quickly. You're introduced to the locals, to the natives in their village, and you jump in boats and you head upstream, depending on what lodge you're going to, anywhere from an hour to 2 hours. It's just dense jungle, and they say, oh, we're here, and you don't know where the lodge is. And then you head up the bank and you stumble upon this gorgeous lodge that's very well put together, very well kept, beautiful, in the middle of an otherwise untouched jungle. Out of the Pluma Lodge, they've recently introduced a helicopter program. So they're running kind of two options. You have the regular program where you're boat-based fishing with the natives, and then the helicopter-assisted program where you're able to get to areas that would otherwise take weeks in a boat. You really can't go wrong. It's all fun, it's all good, all great fishing. Dorado initially became kind of a target species in Argentina on the Paraná River. And then from there, people have kind of gone as far as you can go, and they've found them here in the Bolivian jungle. So Yellow Dog was involved from the start. We were here from the beginning. We watched this grow, we watched it develop, we've watched them understand things deeper and just more effectively fish and explore the area. In the past, I've been to the other 2 operations. There's 3 lodges in total. So it's nice to be back here and dive a little bit deeper and spend a whole week here at the Pluma Lodge with our group. Yeah, I mean, if when you start looking into a golden Dorado trip and you're on YouTube or Google or social media, it's oftentimes portrayed as really productive, and everything you see is going to have a lot of fish and lots of jumps and lots of hookups. I don't know that that's necessarily reality. It's not reality. I mean, Dorado is a challenging species, and it's not a numbers game, and you work for them and you miss them. When someone gets back from this trip and they say, oh yeah, we got like 5 fish in the week, and they maybe sound disappointed, I'm like, oh, well, you got 5, like that's a great week. None of these are guaranteed. You can have 10 opportunities in a day and land 0 fish. That's just the nature of the species. And to get 1 is a big deal, and should be, people should feel good about themselves when they do land these fish, because it is a lot. My job is not to just send someone where they think they want to go, or just make sure the lodge is booked. My job is to send people to the right place based on what they're looking for, based on their previous experience and what they're looking to get out of a trip. So for example, this is a trip where you want to be in good physical shape. It's demanding. You're hiking through the jungle, you're sometimes dealing with extreme heat, and it's pretty rugged conditions out here. And even though this is a lodge-based program, and the lodge is about as nice as something could ever be out here, you're still in the jungle. You're out in the deep jungle all day, hiking around in the heat, dealing with the bugs, dealing with fatigue and missed fish, and you're thirsty. But it's rewarding when you're out here. You got to accept that you're gonna work through this challenging environment and in these difficult scenarios, but it's part of the experience. And I think this trip is for someone who wants adventure and who is willing to work for it, and who's okay with maybe a little bit of suffering and some discomfort along the way, and that's part of the experience. If it was comfortable and easy and approachable, it would be different, and it wouldn't be the same, and I don't know if it would be as enjoyable, as weird as that sounds. So each day your guide comes up to your cabin area and he'll help get your rods situated. Throughout the week you rotate guides every day, which is nice. And each one of those guides has a team of natives with them. So you have one guide who speaks English and is probably Argentine or from somewhere in Latin America, and then you've got your 2 natives, and that's your team. So you have a team of 3 for 2 anglers. And in the boat, you've got the fishing guide handling all of the fishing pieces, and then you've got the natives maneuvering the boats, which is, not an easy task. They've got one either on a long pole motor, or they're both on sticks and pulling you through these rapids, but it's pretty incredible watching these guys work. It's easy to get lost in the fishing and just, stare at the water all day and wait for that moment to catch a Dorado, but while you're doing that and doing your thing, the Tsimane are you know, surviving, and they're out there, you know, whether it's picking berries or nuts in the woods or hunting with a bow and arrow for the sabalo. You know, they're just incredible to watch. You know, in their natural environment, they've been here forever, they've developed with the land here, they're so in touch with the environment. It's easy to get wrapped up in the fishing, but to watch the natives and to be with them and see how they live out here is equally as cool as catching a golden Dorado. And I think, you know, having them as part of the experience greatly enhances, you know, the overall program and the overall experience here in the jungle. So what I love about this trip and this experience is every day is different. You know, whether you're going upriver, you're going into a tributary, you're going downriver, you're gonna encounter different terrain, different, you know, structure, and that then dictates how you're gonna fish for that day. So, you know, down low, for example, you're fishing a little bit dirtier water. It's the main river, the Secure River, with a lot of structure. You know, this is the flood grounds where you'll see trees, you know, a few feet in diameter just laying across the river in heavy current. So it can be really exciting, you know, blind fishing that structure and anticipating that moment where something could just appear and attack the fly out of nowhere. And then on the total opposite side, you've got crystal clear tributaries upstream where you may see the fish and you're, you know, tiptoeing, walking very quietly, not even talking, whispering with your guide, you know, quietly trying to sneak a fly in there in a you know, completely different scenario. And in each one you can catch a huge fish, and you know, they aggressively take the fly, they take to the air immediately, they're jumping, you know, it's a total scramble once you get one hooked up. And once people get back, you know, it's all fresh in their mind. They start talking about all the little things and the, you know, the Tsimane and how great the staff is and how beautiful the jungle is. And, you know, the fish are usually what they eventually get to. They just, people love the experience here. And when they get back and they, you know, talk about how unique it was and how, you know, special the overall experience was, it gets me really excited. You know, and when they get into fish and they send me photos and they, you know, ultimately find success on the river, that's really gratifying. And especially, you know, if they said, oh, I would have never thought about that one thing you told me to bring, and it made a big difference, you know, or, you know, oh, I watched that video or that phone call we had, you know, really helped set me up, and that made a difference. So, you know, any difference we can make in helping people prepare and find success here is really rewarding.